Last question. This is a little unrelated. Why does pornography have such a strong appeal to so many men? It seems like such an empty package, and I just would like to know your input.
We're happy to answer that, but before we do, we want to pose more questions so that in the framework of many questions, the answer will be more fulfilling. That's the same thing as saying, why is it easy for me to follow my biological leanings? It's the same thing as saying, why was I born into this physical experience having a thirst for water or a propensity toward eating? Or why do I innately understand at some cellular level survival of my species? And so it is all sort of connected. Now, there are environments that are, freer is not the best choice of words because freedom is, but there are environments where the perception of freedom is not challenged so much, where sexuality is more natural and less restricted and less guarded and less guided, where that statement about pornography would not be an accurate statement. So the question about pornography is more about the distortion of the sexual energies than it is about the natural flowing of the sexual energies. And we think that's the odd thing that you are feeling about the subject. Give us a definition of pornography in its broadest form.
Boy.
In other words, you could say naked bodies, but it's more than that. And you could say sexual interaction, but it's more than that. What makes pornography
I think it's more of a objectifying of the other person. It's not relating to them as a person. It's just relating to them as a means to gratify my desire.
What's the difference between pornography and art?
I'm not sure that can be
well, in an action
defined.
world,
Yeah.
they could seem like the same thing. But on the emotional journey, they are two very different things, aren't they?
Excellent, yeah.
And so as you start watching these concurrent journeys that are running on a lot of things, on a lot of different subjects, you'll begin to, because it's one thing on the one hand, but it's something else altogether on the other. And so most often when we hear physical humans use the word pornography, they are making a very detrimental remark about something. In other words, they are usually not feeling positive as they use the word. And there's a lot of speculation about what is. There are some people that want to make any human body that is not clothed in the category of pornography. And that is worrisome in the sense that here you are loathing who you are or some aspects of who you are for some reason. And what we notice about all of that is it's like so many things. And it really comes to the basis of what we were saying earlier when we are so much wanting each of you to identify your own journey through your own emotional guidance system rather than worrying about what so many people outside of you are thinking. Because most laws and rules have been written by those outside of you or apart from you who in some way believe that they need some control over your behavior in order for them to feel good. And it's such a futile fight for them. It's the reason that they get bigger and louder and meaner is because they can't win that. Because they can't even control their own children or their mates or their employees, let alone control the world that they think they need to control so that they can feel better, you see. But when you as an individual discover that you don't need to control anything that anybody else is doing, all you need to do is find a way of managing your own energies, of lining up with who you are. And so there are a whole lot of people that are absolutely lined up with who they are, who are engaging in sexual activities where their action course and their emotional journey are running concurrent, one with another. In other words, they are in perfect vibrational sync. And there are a whole lot of people that on the subject of sexuality haven't been anywhere near their emotional balance for a very, very long time. And it's an interesting thing to watch the impulses that come forth from their broader non-physical perspective clashing with the influence that society has put upon them. And we don't know anyone who will ever come into alignment with who they are as long as they are trying to use societies or religions or politicians or anybody's rules about that alignment. It has to be an inside job, you see. And when it is, then you don't care what label anybody else puts on anything. When you're lined up, you're lined up.
I am lined up. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.